And Rich, how about selecting retention? How do companies select their retention?
We just recently purchased one of the products that are out there and had a pretty thorough search to try to choose what kind of a retention we want. Coming from a publicly traded organization, you want to look at least in our priority, was the net worth of the company and the financial resources available to the company. As any other large REIT, we have a lot of mortgages in place. There's significant loan covenants out there, and you want to be sure that any kind of a commitment you make as far as a retention is in compliance with any of your loan covenants. Additionally, you want to look at cash flow. If you have a large claim and you're going to have a $1 million or two or a multi-million-dollar retention, are you going to be able to flow that cash to pay the bills as they come in? My organization is very conservative. We took a very low retention. So we didn't want to go out with having to float a lot of this going on at one time. And again, we're a REIT, we're an investment. We have shareholders, and we have a dividend. Other things to consider at the time is the market. We like to smooth out our insurance program from year to year, and sometimes you move from a hard market to a soft market. You like to choose a retention that your underwriter's not going to want to manipulate as you move from a hard to a soft market. Pick one that you have, stay with it, and carry it forward from there. Thanks.
And Rich, Rebecca was starting to touch a little bit too on crisis response. Certainly under an insurance policy, you have all the vendor relationships that you have access to. And what are some other ways that you could prepare? Because preparation is certainly key when the breach strikes, as Rebecca was starting to mention.
Team building, internal teams and external teams. And you can learn it for those of you who have large GL programs and have had crisis events across other lines of coverage. It carries right over to your cyber policies. When we implemented the program to purchase the cyber policy, we engaged counsel. We had the legal department involved. We had risk management. We had IT. We had internal audit. Had a brainstorming session. Everybody brought something to the table. After we purchased the product, we in the process now of using the resources to build a more focused breach team from our crisis team that handles business continuity and some of our other issues. Breach team is going to be an internal group of people that have access to their vendors anytime, day or night, can make decisions. General counsel gets involved, float things up to the board as necessary, get information out, press releases done. A lot of times we'll engage coverage counsel just to see what other policies may be involved or what could come into play. In our situation, we have a GL carrier and we have some upper layers with Chartis, who has a fantastic product for crisis management. We've used it on a number of occasions and just found the service valuable. When you have a bad event going on, you don't want to be stumbling trying to find a vendor, getting a press release together, fighting who's going to be on television or whatever the case may be. So it's important to have an internal team that's ready to go. The team needs to have a plan. It needs to be a written plan. It needs to be documented. It needs to be exercised. Get everybody together in a conference room day over lunch and work through your plan. Do a bunch of what ifs. Go back to our situation, we'd go back to the counsel that we used to help us with the purchase and say, hey, throw some claims at us and let us see how we would handle the first 24, 48, or 72 hours. Do scenarios, make sure that your vendor contracts are ready to go, and call those vendors and ask them how long they would take to respond or provide services in the event of emergency. And again, just keep practicing. Every year at renewal, pull the plan off and make sure it's still timely and still important.
I think that's a great point about making sure that it's updated, because certainly after a year it's outdated, and often we find people have crisis plans on the shelf for 2 or 3 years.